I'm Christopher Reben, and this is Seed Talk. Welcome back to Seed Talk. This is episode 3, first season. The Phillies just clinched the series against the Mariners with the gritty 6-4 win. Christopher Sánchez dominated on the mound. J.T Realmuto delivered a clutch go-ahead homer, and the offense showed depth. But the big story, Zack Wheeler out indefinitely with the blood clot in his right shoulder. This team has to prove it can still win, and the start is now. So let's dive in. All right, let's go ahead and recap the first game against the Mariners. Phillies won 12-7. Bryce Harper ignited the offense with 2 homers, including a towering shot in the 8th inning, capped a 4-run rally. Trey Turner went 4 for 6 with 5 RBIs. He marked his 1500th career hit with a solo home run. Ranger Suarez, he pitched 6 in 2 innings. He struck out 10. He showcased his resilience despite a late game surge by Seattle. Ranger kind of doing his thing. He's not really looking like the Ranger that we know he is. But in reality, he did all right for that game, and our offense really kept us within winning for that game. Second game of the series, which was last night, the Phillies won 6-4. Christopher Sánchez delivered a masterful performance. He struck out 12 over 6 1 innings, allowed just 2 runs. Schwarber led off with a solo home run again for his 44th homer of the season. With Cal Raleigh watching him playing on the other team, it was kind of nice to be able to have Schwarber show that maybe he is the home run leader this season and not Cal Raleigh. He really set the tone early, as he tends to do. Bryson Stott had a solo shot, continuing a strong season. Stott's really just performing well. He's looking like more and more like a veteran player and so the rookie that he was for the past couple of seasons. J.T Realmuto, though, he broke a 4-4 tie in the 8th with a 2-run homer from Matt Brash. He allowed only 1 run in his 37 prior appearances. And then Dave Robertson really coming in and Johan Duran to close out the game. Duran earned his 22nd save last night, and Dave Robertson's really showing that with his veteran ability that he can be a reliever that we can rely on to be able to win games. Orion Kerkering, though, it was a little hard to watch him. He's kind of been struggling here later in the second half of the season, and that's something he needs to get on track. Even though he's still so young, he has some experience with long seasons and the ability to provide us with good pitching depth, which we really need to be able to go on a deeper run in this season. Watching Realmuto's clutch homer, though, it felt like a playoff moment, something that the Phillies haven't had until late right now. The energy in the stadium was just electric. It reminded me of the '08 postseason run a little bit. It reminded me of the 2022 postseason run. And he looked like JT of old last night coming in and hitting a clutch homer in a situation we need him. He hasn't always been a power guy, but he used to and tends to come up in big situations and hit the ball when we need him to get a hit. So that was nice to see JT kind of stepping out and you saw light of what JT was. Let's move on. Zack Wheeler injury. This is a heartbreak for this Phillies team. Extremely unsettling news, though. Wheeler, he's out indefinitely due to a blood clot in his right shoulder. He underwent a successful thrombosis procedure to remove the clot, but his return timeline remains uncertain. It's a significant blow to the Phillies rotation, as Wheeler, he's been a cornerstone for this Phillies pitching staff. Something that he was a Cy Young candidate going into this later half of the season. And losing Wheels is we're losing our ace right now. But with Christopher Sánchez coming in, it's been kind of nice to see that we have other guys in our rotation who are able to step up and be as dominant. I truly believe that this Phillies rotation is a better rotation than the '08 World Series one. And which is nice that when one guy goes out, we have guys behind him who are able to step up. You would hope that it would be someone like Nola, but in all seriousness, Sanchez has been that guy, and I'm really excited to see him kind of move into that starter role and dominate like he's been continuing to do. And he's in line right now for a Cy Young year. How do you think this rotation will adjust without Wheels? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know what you think will happen with Wheeler being out and how this rotation is going to handle that. Personally, I believe that this rotation is going to be good. We were going into the playoffs with a 6-man rotation, so going down to a 5 is not unheard of, and it just means our guys are going to have to work on less days of rest. So let's move on to this week's hot take. Losing Wheeler is tough, but the offense can carry this team. Harper and Schwarber need to step up and lead. Harper's recent performance has been stellar, and Schwarber's power is undeniable. If they continue to produce, the Phillies can weather the storm. I truly believe that the leaders on this team need to step up and rally around this Phillies team in general. They need to be able to say, okay, we lost our ace, but we still have stars and amazing players on this team to be able to win a World Series. Losing Wheels is a huge blow. But in baseball, unlike basketball, unlike football, when you lose your star, you still have another 8 guys behind you on that team who can step up and win games. One guy is not going to make or break a game. Is it a huge blow for the Phillies? 100%. But is this going to cost them the World Series? No. We have ace players who are able to make up the difference with losing Wheels. Wheels only pitch 1 out of every 5 days. That means that those 5 other games, we are winning without Wheeler. So we can do that without him as well. Harper and Schwarbs, they need to be the veterans that they are, rally around this team and say, okay, guys, now we have to pick up the slack where it's lost. And that's going to be in our offense. The Phillies need to step up, hit more balls, and they need to get on the board early, get more runs early, and let us coast into the later parts of the game and let our bullpen, because we have one of the best bullpens in baseball. So our bullpen needs to come in, shut down the game with our offensive bats coming in and putting runs on the board early. Harper's two homer in game 1. He brought the season total to 32. Schwarber's at 44. He leads the team right now. These guys can hit. J.T. bat waking up last night. Stott's bat waking up. These are key guys that need to step up within this team, and when they hit, we win games. And we're going to be able to win as many games as we want. It just determines if our offense actually wakes up and plays baseball, like knows how to play. We're going to try a new segment today. It's going to be a fan's hot take, and this week's hot take is going to come from Vex Noah. He dropped a comment on our TikTok. His hot take is Zack Wheeler will be back for the postseason, completely different and even better. Personally, I don't agree with this hot take. I don't think Zack Wheeler will be back before the postseason. The reason being, I've heard some things saying that unlike basketball players and unlike football players with something like this, that they don't need as much time for pitchers because their respiratory rate or whatever it is not as high as a basketball player or football player's is. But I would much rather Wheeler be out for the rest of the season, get healthy, get himself right, so when he does come back for next season, we have a dominant pitcher for a longer amount of time. I don't want him to come back, get hurt, and then we lose him all of next season, and we fizzle out, and this magical run that we could go on is something of the past, and it's going to say, oh, we won, but we didn't do the same thing next year. Because in Philly, when you win, you're expected to win again. And if you win and then you fizzle out, everybody's going to look around and say, okay, should you have really won, or were there other circumstances that you got pushed to the finish line? So personally, I don't agree with this hot take. Drop a comment below if you agree with this, if this is something you believe, or if you agree on my side where you don't think he'll be back for the postseason, and you really don't want him back for the postseason. Let's look ahead at tonight's Game 3 against the Mariners. The Phillies aim to complete the series sweep against the Mariners. The pitching matchup features Jesús Luzardo and Luis Castillo for the Mariners. Luzardo's been a reliable starter for the Phillies. He's boasting an 11-6 record with a 4.21 ERA. He struck out 158 batters over 139 innings this season. He showcases his ability to miss bats, keep hitters off balance, and just keep hitters guessing when they're at the plate. Luzardo's performance, it's going to be crucial for the Phillies to maintain momentum. The Phillies can't fizzle out. The way that they act in this series and the way that they dominate in the series is going to show what this Phillies team is going to do. They can either decide to put their tails between their legs, pack up their baseballs, and walk away and say, oh, we lost our ace. Or they could say, let's rally around and let's still win baseball games. And what they've shown so far is that they still want to win baseball games even without their ace, and that they still have faith and hope in their abilities to play. With Luzardo on the mound, the Phillies lineup needs to lock in tonight. They have a strong chance to sweep the Mariners, but Castillo, his resilience makes him a matchup to watch closely. It's going to be a really good game. It's going to be a really tight game. Expect to see high offense this game. You got Cal Raleigh in the lineup again tonight, looking to see if Schwarber can hit another home run and get his 45th on the season. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game for the Phils and the Mariners. It's just going to be really exciting, and this whole series has just been an exciting series. That's a wrap for this episode. We've covered the Mariners series, Wheeler's injury, and tonight's matchup. I want to hear from you. How do you feel about the team chances without Wheeler? Who needs to step up the most? Leave your comments below. Make sure to follow our socials, Brews_Brothers podcast on Instagram. Look us up on TikTok, and follow our podcast on Spotify. This one's going to be Sea Talk. So we have a Brews Brothers podcast that comes out about every week or so, and that's going to be with myself or me and my brother Carter. And then Sea Talk's going to come out every couple of days, and that's just a recap what the Phillies have been doing for 2 or 3 days now. So thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this episode with the fellow Phillies fans. Until next time, keep faith. Let's go Phils.